Hello, thank you very much for joining me. So today I'm not camping, but I am out in a woodland, and basically what I'd like to do is show you a few of my favorite tarp setups. So without any further ado, let's see how we can camp like a boss. So let's take you on a little tour around this one. We'll start off with an old hammock camp. So literally simple truckers hitch there, little toggle, both sides. Either side at the back, just pin back, and obviously straight to the tree hugger on there, so there's no worrying around. Hammocks are literally the easiest things ever to set up. Here usually I'd use obviously a stick or literally just a line if you need to, but yeah, absolutely delightful setup. If it's a bit stormy, you may want something that covers over this side a little bit more, so you go more for an A-frame, and I'll show you that one now quick. There we are. So I've taken this one down just here, taken that pole out, and as you can see, loads of room under there, totally covered. Obviously if it's raining, any type of bad weather, that is the absolute one to go for there. Like a vampire there, where you get in that little coffin down there. Absolutely beautiful, that one. And I'll show you one more type camp really quick. That one's literally just the same, couple of different knots. I've got a little knot card that I'd advise upon getting if you don't know any good knots. But yeah, another time when I do this, I'll show you some knots as well. Anyways, let's get on to the next one. And there we are, my 3 seasons of tarps. Absolutely incredible, this one. This one is when you know the sun's shining. I've not got any worry about any rain tonight. Maybe just a little bit of shade so I don't get too much of a tan. That one is absolutely perfect. You can see there I do actually have a flap, so what I do with that is tie it back off to that at the top, and then if there is any type of change, or even if it just gets a little bit too hot, or I just want a bit of extra privacy, whatever it be, I can just whip that one out. But that one is absolute peach for the summer, absolute peach. Lovely view as well. If you've got epic views, obviously, as you can see anything like that. But that is going to be enough for the hammock ones now, because although I love hammock camping, absolutely brilliant, you're not always guaranteed trees, and I think it's vital if you do own a tarp and yeah, you want to get out and about with that you know a few really good floor tarp ones. And yeah, obviously these ones you don't touch the floor, so you're always staying quite warm. But yeah, with them ones where you're directly on the floor, there are so many different variables that can happen, whether it be water coming in the bottom, so many different things. So yeah, absolutely vital to get a good one. Now I'm going to show you a few. And that's about how easy those tree huggers are to put up. So whenever I'm doing a floor setup, first thing I do is I lay my tarp out flat like that. This tarp, you can see it's got a couple of nice little bows to it. It's a little bit smaller than my favoured size. So usually there's a grey one that I've got in some of my older videos. That's about a perfect size, that one. You've always got to start with a good focal point. So for example, here I'm going to make a plow point. Straight away focal points here. There's no point putting any pegs in or anything at the moment. First up, let's get it up there. And I'll just drop you down here and we'll see how easy this one is. So as easy as you like, as I've said before. If you don't know very many knots, just get creative, get around there. You can literally just tie that off with a little shoelace bow like that, one-sided. Then just pick up that and just pull down on the other side. You'll get a nice tight line like that. And next up, you just got to decide from now, how big do I want it? So this is quite high at the moment. You're thinking, okay, do I want to pin it out to one corner? Do I want to have one side larger than the other? For this scenario, I think I'll go for a bit of a box back. So that just gives me a little bit underneath that I can tuck there. And I'll show you all inside in just a sec. Just a simple plow point, as I've said, but just inside here you got this excess, which is absolutely lovely. Gives you a little something just to put your clothes, whatever on. Almost got like a little door there. With this one, as I've said, it's a bit odd shaped, but yeah, basically what I'll do now is I'll just extend that and I'll show you another variation. Now this is my favoured variation for a plow point, especially if you do have some type of small tarp or something that can go under. But look at the absolute space behind there. Can get a good gathering, you know, if you've got a few mates out with you, a couple of bevies, whatever you'd be doing out there. Absolute spacious, that one. Can probably fit probably 3, maybe 4 people at a squeeze, especially if it's sunny, because I mean, you're head out, aren't you? It's nothing to worry about there. You've got a good open opportunity, and if you do want, you can take this little pegaroo out, flap it there. Sorry for the shoddy camera work, not got a cameraman, you see, out on me ones. And yeah, that one is pretty much like a lean-to then. So a lean-to is exactly that, it just leans. And yeah, like I say, that's absolutely brilliant then, because you've got a door so you can cover that around. You know, you can obviously get easy access without having to kind of crawl out the front. But yeah, that for me, absolutely peach. Yeah, literally you can tie it off of anything as well. It doesn't have to be a tree. I've done it on mountain faces, all types of stuff. Absolutely peach. You want to know, plow point, easiest one you'll get as well. You literally just have to tie it off to something, peg the sides out, simple as it comes. So for this next one, I'm going to use a stick. I have got the poles just over there, but just want to show you how to do it without a pole. This time the focal point will be the pegs, simply because the tree before was able to support the weight, obviously. This time, if we were to stick it up straight away with a stick, we wouldn't have anything to really keep it in place, so to say. So one peg straight in the back of either of them. And again, I'm all about easy setups, all about maximizing that time in the world. I don't want to be spending 2 hours setting something up. If you've got these little loops, they're handy just to stick around there. Just gives you one less knot to make. If I get it through there in one, there we go. Lovely stuff. And then basically you're going to spin them through the hole, and all you need is the balancing from the stick. You don't need the stick to be dug into the ground. Watch, just leave it like that, nice and balanced. That's all you need, and off we go. Let's peg her in. So there we go. With this one, you can choose to literally drop anything on those, or you can obviously peg them out if you've got extra pegs. I do have extra pegs. So for me, let's get that real vibe going on there. Peg her out. So tell a lie, I'm using 4 pegs, but you can do it with 2, as shown. Sometimes as well, if ever you're low for pegs, anything like that, what you can do is just use any type of brick, block, anything with weight, big chunk of wood, anything. But under there, absolute amount of space. Not very comfortable when it comes to getting up, but if you're in midwinter, this is an absolute brilliant one, because not much rain can obviously come in underneath and things like that. Yeah, I rarely use this one if I'm being honest, because I quite like the elements. But yeah, absolute peach for the setup. And I'll just, yeah, you can see with that one, any rain that comes down is literally just going to flush down. The only thing I would say with using this one is choose somewhere that doesn't slope down at the back, because anything that comes down, you don't want it then to come back in. So yeah, and as you can see, not so much room for the old head, but yeah, enough room for bed. Anyways, let's show you one that I consider to be probably my favorite sit down tarp now. So this one's another you can do with 2 pegs and just a pole. Again, you could use another 2 at the front just to separate it. Focal point, first off, just pin those bad boys back. And yeah, if ever you need to, if ever you're trying to set your tarp up, just put your bag or anything on top of it just to stop it blowing away. I've had that especially on top of the mountains, Paul, where yeah, where I'm chasing around a nice bit of fabric, chasing my tarp around, trying to get somewhere cozy to sleep for the night, so to say. Anyways, we're going to use this one. Throw that one over there. Nice bit of length to it. Quick knot, and again, what you can do, look, the balancing isn't difficult, so you get it there and you just, yeah, that's good. And then again, like I said, you can put something there or you can pin it down. So this time I'll pin it down. We'll grab another one to pin that. Another one to pin that side. And what you can do after any type of tarp setup, what I suggest is you just go back around and you go like, say for example here, where it folds down a bit in comparison to this nice flush side, you just keep tautening it. So go back to that peg, drag it out a little bit, balance that out a little bit more, drag that out, pull that one out. Before you know it, you'll get yourself nice and tight. Worst thing I've seen people do is basically go straight for that tight, and they're like, yeah, like they end up with a side like that and they throw it all back down. Not at all. All you've got to do is keep readjusting it and you'll end up with an absolute peach of a setup. As you can see, that one there, absolute perfect for a good night that. And what I like with this one, nice fire there, you've got that heat coming straight in and out. Beautiful. Beautiful. But the only thing is, these are all good for the summer. What if we want a little something on the floor? And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So absolute ease for this one. What I always tend to do is I'll kind of have an idea already in my head where I want to take the tarp. So I'll look across to an angle and I go, right, so say for example this piece, look at that, yeah, that'll keep me nice and dry. So pin in each of the corners just from that spot. 1 and 2. This, you just grab it and throw it underneath. We'll knock that one out. About there, looks right. So we can get that one back there. And if I stick it in there, that should balance there until I get one of these to tie off with. And just look at it. Again, I can pin that one there. I can pin this out if I want. Just got a lovely bit of cloth under there. As I've said, I can pin that one down and then I've got myself a lovely dry night's sleep. Because believe me, a tarp doesn't always mean dry. Yeah, with a tarp, honestly, you could just find any little spot around and go, right, I'm just gonna chuck it here. You'll be able to fit it in anywhere, lift any angle up. It's honestly, it's like, I've folded it so many times before that you end up with like one of them little fortune tellers you used to make at school, you know, like pick a color. And yeah, it's just, it's almost like origami with a bit of plastic sheeting or whatnot. It's, yeah, I absolutely love it. But yeah, feel free to just mix up. Honestly, there ain't no specific like, oh, you've got to make this type of tarp. or anything like that. It's not all for views just for it to look good or whatever. Just chuck it up, whatever's the most comfortable, whatever's going to provide the best for you that night that you're out and about. That's what you should set up. So this one, very similar to what I've just shown you. Pinning it halfway up the top, well, about a third the way up the top, and again just chucking that underneath, and there you go. Even bigger space for you to lie on. Ensure that you're going to get a nice dry night's sleep. This one is quite a favoured setup. In a few of my videos you've probably seen this one. I say favoured, one of. Usually I like setting up different every time, just to mix it up. But with these, I quite often double down through the pair of them, just like that. It depends, because it does get a bit flappy like that, so you may wish to do these separate and the other separate. But this one, if you get the balancing act right, you shouldn't need anything to balance the front stick, pole, whatever you want to call it, just like that. But you can see there we've got basically all of the circumference that you can see on the inside in the area space on the floor. Obviously that's going to keep us nice dry, plenty of room. Look at that, nice. Have a lovely little fire there. Can just about sit up. The only thing I would say about this one, I remember camping on Dartmoor in the UK next to like an old burial chamber thing, which was quite crazy actually. But yeah, I remember it being really bad weather, and the only thing I would say with this one in that scenario was I felt like I didn't really have much room to do anything. Obviously it's not, you know, I'd probably opt to choose somewhere slightly dry on the floor, or even wait for a bit of it to soak up through hot stone techniques and things like that, and just basically go for a longer one. It's always tempting to have that bit on the bottom for comfort, but yeah, most sleeping bags it wouldn't penetrate anyway if you've got a sleeping bag or anything with you. But yeah, that's just one to keep in mind, because I've been in there on different occasions during bad weather, and yeah, kind of had a feeling like yeah, almost like I'm in my grave, you know. So yeah, anyways, got another one for you. So we got the last tarp of the day. We got the pyramid, and I'm not talking Giza, I am talking of the sacred woodland pyramid of a tarp tent. Absolute peach, this one. I put it just onto one of the side reliefs, but it would be a little bit better if you put that on one of the grommets, if I'm being honest. If I'd done it reverse, it would have been. So first off, pin out these back two pegs, then put the pole in the middle, stick whatever you want, tie off the string if you need to. I didn't need to because I just dug that one down ever so slightly, and then just brace that off at the front. You can close them in if you want a little bit more yeah, a little bit more privacy or whatnot. And I will say with this one, if you're a tent camper and you're looking to start trying out tarps, try this one first, because obviously you're going to get a lot of the same atmosphere, and the only difference is going to be the floor. And if you've got a big enough tarp, you'll also be able to do that off the cut off at the back, but have the excess coming underneath. So for me, that is the absolute best one if you're looking to first tarp tent. And yeah, that's just a few that of my kind of go-to ones. It depends where you're camping. I'm always camping in crazy places, you know, on top of mountains, next to lakes, in forestries, wherever it be. So for me, having a tarp, it's just so much more convenient, just because I can have a setup wherever I want. I don't have to have, like you do with tents quite often, you have to have flat ground, you have to have a kind of open area. You know, with a tarp, I can literally not care what's underneath, as long as the area that I'm going to be on hasn't got a huge boulder on the middle of it or something like that. But like I said, I've put that in between caves, all types of stuff. A tarp is absolutely incredible. This one has quite a few bits of strings, pole and everything like that with it, which make it a lot more convenient to do different setups. But you can get all types of tarps. Yeah, honestly, I would advise anyone that goes tent camping. For me, tent camping is nice, but there's a degree of it where I feel like I'm in a less comfortable hotel almost, so to say. I like to obviously see where I am, see all the nature out and about, and I think that's, for me, that's why I get out and about. I just love being outdoors. So yeah, having a tarp for me, I mean, the one that I've shown you before, having it with a hammock and that's just luxury, you know, just sat there. You got them epic views over lakes, mountains. It's just incredible. Anyways, I don't want to drag it on too much. I'm going to leave you with that one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there are any of the tarp tents that you've tried before. Let me know how they go, if you're going to try some new ones. If you've got some ones that I didn't show that you think may be good for me to try out, feel free to put them down. Yeah, interact, let me know what you think. And I think I'm gonna try and do a few more. This is my first ever kind of how-to video, so yeah, I'm trying to kind of show a bit more than just the camping aspects of it. So yeah, if there are other type of videos like different knots and all types of stuff like that, feel free to give me a shout out, because if I have the concept of doing it, I'm more than happy to go and do it. Obviously at the moment, if I don't have the idea of doing it, it ain't gonna get done. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great evening, day, morning, night, whatever it be.